Hello and welcome to this week's review on My Hero Academia Vigilantes. This week I'm reviewing the episode I Do What I Can, and I kick off this review, as I always do with these reviews, by talking about the positives and the headline positives. All the big things I'm going to discuss over the course of this review. I like how self-aware Crawler gets in this episode. I like the fact that the pro heroes aren't stealing Crawler and Captain Celebrity's thunder, and I like the artwork that we get with Crawler using his new pew pew power, or rather the pew pew power that he now has a bit more of a grasp of how to use. Now, of course, this episode follows on from the previous one with Captain Celebrity trying to hold out against that big exploding monster that keeps punching him with explosions, a move that no doubt Bakugo in the main series would probably wish that he could do. I'm not going to be reviewing this episode in linear order, so yes, we're referring to it towards the end of it, but hey-ho, I'm sure we'll all cope with that. Now, at the moment, it is just a case of Captain Celebrity just holding on as best as he can. Emphasis on the word hold on, because as we've established in prior episodes, the way that his quirk works is that it manipulates airwaves or something along those lines, and that is what helps to protect him and give him the illusion of having super strength and what have you. And now the scarred man, the delivery man, whatever you want to call him, he's now using his big spooky exploding monster things to wear him down, kill him, and then kill everyone inside the Sky Egg. Makes sense, he is a bad guy and that's what he's doing. And also I suppose that Captain Celebrity is doing this in the hope that the pro heroes will arrive and help to relieve him and put this bad guy down once and for all. Though given what we see of the pro heroes in this episode, I honestly don't think they could find the arse with both hands, but that's for a discussion for later on. But just when you think all hope is lost, Crawler appears to save the day, now using the aforementioned pew pew shooty powers, which he's just had in the back seat of his power set, because whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Which itself does lead to this interesting exchange, like I mentioned in the headline positive bits, where he gets a little bit more self-aware. Not in a meta fourth wall breaking kind of way, but in a way which certainly does set up for some interesting character drama with him going forward, where he says essentially to Captain Celebrity that, look, I know that I can't really save the day on my own, and I know that all I'm really doing is holding out until the real heroes arrive, which, yeah, that's basically what he does. That's what he does in every single volume, in every single action sequence we've seen him in, pretty much exclusively for the entire run of this series. So the fact that he's aware of that fact, the fact that he's aware of the sense that, oh, he is doing things quite like this, he's, well, maybe not quite the most proactive protagonist he should be, is refreshing to say the least. And again, the fact we have an in-universe reason as to why he steps aside so much is, well, it certainly is welcome, and it does stop it from feeling like it's some kind of fault with the writing. And whilst I will admit it doesn't make much sense for the drama, and again, the fact that we don't have so much of a proactive protagonist, you know, when you have your hero running away the moment that a more skilled hero comes along, it does end up setting us up for a more interesting moment later on, ideally in the next episode or two, where he has to step up and enter into the role of being a hero, because let's be honest, our pro heroes in this moment aren't really doing that much. Now, I'm glad that they aren't stealing his thunder. I'm glad that all of a sudden we don't get a dozen or so pro heroes climbing up the Sky Egg to save the day, and to save Captain Celebrity and save Crawler, and then they do all their stuff, we all clap because I remember those people and that's it. I am thankful of the fact that you haven't really got into that bit just yet. I imagine that's something that will happen in the final episode or two of this little mini arc, whether that's in the next episode or thereafter. And like I say, I'm glad that we haven't crossed that line. They are, in fairness to them, and you know that I'm being a bit flippant towards them, they are doing what seemingly you would expect an actual real-life pro, I was going to say pro celebrity, no, pro superhero to do. They are taking stock of the situation at hand. They're trying to get a grasp, a status report of what exactly is going on. They're eliminating all possibilities. They firstly think it might be due to an earthquake, but then they realise no, because nothing's working. The emergency escape route isn't working, so something more malicious is going on, which ends up leading to that weird little moment with the guy with the hazard stripes on his head going, "What, do you think it might be terrorism?" Terrorism. Which I will admit, I know it wasn't played for laughs, but I just got a kick out of it just because, look, you're superheroes, you probably deal with this stuff on a daily basis, so the fact that it could be that shouldn't really be that much of a surprise to you, because, you know, you deal with this stuff frequently. But in any case, you know, there they are, they're trying to keep stock of it, trying to figure everything out, and they are almost immediately all as we can see in the background of one of the shots of the wild pussycats, trying to make the... oh, Christ. I'm sorry, it's just a visual image of what happens during that whole sequence of events. I just think it's so bloody strange. Like, I don't know. All the pro heroes, a large section of them are taking time to take stock of everything that's happening. Understandable. They have this big meeting with all the heroes there, and you have the guy with Mirko, whatever her name is, saying, "I don't like working in teams." Which, sure, whatever. But then you have that shot in the background where you got some of the other heroes just going around the crowds and making sure they're okay, and you have some of them just giving out blankets and people are settling down on the floor. But why? How? What? It's only been like 5 minutes. Are people really looking for a lie down? You're in a building that could, as far as you're aware, be in the middle of an earthquake. Do you really just want to settle down and take a kip? If I was in that situation, I'd be there just slowly shuffling my way to the nearest fire escape just in case things get worse. Oh, don't bother me. Oh, yeah. I'm just stretching my legs a little bit. So these fire doors, I mean, they don't need a button. You just push through. I'm not saying I'm going out there now because, we're all here. I wouldn't want to get in the way of anyone else. But, hypothetically speaking, how far would I have to run? If something happened. That's basically my point of view of it. The fact everyone's really settling down for the long haul after only about 5 minutes of this kicking off feels a bit bloody weird. Like, it was only a few minutes ago they were all stood there laughing and cheering. Oh, look at that, look at all that fun stuff the heroes are doing. Now they're having a lie down. I just don't get it. Now, maybe there's an excuse that, someone fell over and hurt themselves when stuff started to get shooken about. Okay, sure. But it is just a weird thing, and I suppose it's just for the sake of the artwork. You need to show the heroes doing something, to show some busy work happening in the background. Understandable, but it just feels a little bit odd to me in a weird kind of funny way. But still, the pro heroes are trying to figure out what is happening. The fact that they are all just fumbling about trying to find a way of getting out of the building just blows my mind, really. I can understand the fact they're not just blowing a hole in the nearest window or in the nearest wall because they don't want to set the entire thing collapsing in on itself, but they're all just stood there going, okay, so we've discovered that there is an escape hatch on top of the building, and if we could get someone to climb through it and fly through it, then we could do that. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's a great idea. So why are none of you doing it? Stop standing around and talking about it. Decide who's going up there and who's going to fly out. You've only really got 2 people that can fly around, it seems, to send them out. Why are you all stood around waiting? I know that narratively we need you to do this. We need you to waste time so it makes the big rescue moment with Captain Celebrity feel a lot bigger. But for goodness sake, do something. Be more proactive. You guys don't have an excuse. You're pros. You're super powered. You're super OP. For goodness sake, do something. But in any case, with that said, they do act in a way that does make sense. They're doing the kind of thing that you would expect in situations where there is accidents going on. They're doing the thing of getting people to the recovery position. They're doing the thing of making sure everyone is all right. Everyone's got water. It makes sense. And I would be fine if it was just the case of the lower-ranked heroes were doing this, as we kind of see in the background. But the fact that pro heroes are just kind of sat around a table going, something weird's going on here, and I don't like it. It feels a little bit weird that they're doing this, but again, I am glad and thankful of the fact that this isn't just the heroes just immediately springing thing going, don't worry, Captain Celebrity and friend, we're gonna save the day! Da, 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 da. Oh wait, copyright. Anyway, so let's of course move us on to the last moment of praise, and I will admit this is a shorter review because there's not really much to talk about. I do like the artwork that we end up seeing of Crawler using his new pew pew power. That just double page spread of him just using it for the first time is great. I like the fact we're seeing him stood on the underside of the sky egg structure, so he's upside down whilst he's doing it. It cuts a very impressive image, and I do like the artwork that he's presented there. This nice double page spread. I just wish that the quality of the paperback was better. I know that I've mentioned this time and time again, but I don't get it. I don't get why manga has to be done in these really crappy little paperback volumes with these weird, slightly tan shaded paper. It makes so many of the details of the artwork just fade into the background. And I've got a copy of the first volume that I just had on my shelf for months, if not a year and a half, and how yellow that went over just a relatively short period of time, just by the paper just aging, and just how many of the visuals in that just went so murky. And just imagine, I mean, comparing that to the volumes of Judge Dredd that I've got, which is, again, black and white footage, well, sorry, black and white artwork, but it's got this really crisp, nice, just really high quality stock paper that's used for it. And just imagine, oh god, imagine if Vigilantes looked that good when you were reading it. Or you could just have the entire thing, or just a storyline, a few volumes is collected in one nice hardback book. That would be great. But still, artwork itself is fantastic, not just in that moment, but in the other ones. You get the little, like, almost dream sequence or nightmare sequence bit of Crawler falling off the roof. And I will admit, this isn't necessarily a negative, but the way that it was put together did look a little bit confusing to me. Because for a minute I did think, oh shit, he's fallen off the roof, now what? Oh, is he going to use the thing where he starts walking on the air again? Is he going to start using... Oh, no, that was his imagination thing. Oh, okay, well, you could have presented that a little bit better. Put that in a bit of a sequence, make the panel work look a little bit different so it looks like a dream or a hypothetical. But in any case, I think the episode itself... Well, we're getting to the overview prematurely. Let's get into the negatives, and I'm not going to lean too much onto negatives, but again, with this stuff with the pro heroes... Look, it's a mixed thing with me, because on the one hand, I am glad of the fact that they aren't stealing everyone's thunder, and they are just, you know, taking this opportunity to do what you'd expect a rescue person to do in a situation like this. A fireman, or just a mountain rescue, that kind of paramedic. They're doing that kind of thing, just checking the scenario, checking the situation, making sure that you have all the exits prepared, that you're building a plan. I like that fact, makes sense. But at the same time, they don't feel quite as proactive as you really would do. A few episodes ago, I made a reference to these series Thunderbirds, and I'm just imagining right now, okay, what would a character in a Thunderbirds episode be doing about now? They'd be doing one of two things. One, they'd be just sat around waiting to get rescued, because, you know, that's what you do when you're in a precarious situation. You stay in one place so you can be rescued. Or alternative, they'd be more proactive. Okay, what's going on outside, and trying to better establish that so that then they can help the rescue personnel. At the moment, they're all just stood in a dark office space, just plotting stuff out. There's not even like a case of someone's gone outside to look out the window. Like, just that itself feels like it should be something, and maybe that'll happen in the next episode, but the fact they're all just kind of bumming about and wandering around just really shows a lack of direction from them, but still, it is what it is. And I suppose the other negative, and I hate to say it, but this is, as you can tell by the length of this review, just kind of a connecting tissue one. It does set up the stakes for... You know what, let's get into the overview, because I'm going to start talking about that stuff anyway. So, overview. I think the episode itself is good, but there's not really much of substance to really talk about here. Everything we see with Crawler and with Captain Celebrity and the little action, what little it is with them, is good. And it helps set the stakes and set the tension for what's coming up later with them. With that said, however, it is just a connecting tissue episode. This is a thing that's going to lead up to probably some bigger fight next week, which I will have more to talk about. And just the simple fact that there isn't much really to talk about in general. Even if I was to be positive towards what the pro heroes are doing, they are just doing what you'd expect of the new. They're doing the standard stuff. Like, it's like a few volumes ago when you saw the big montage of them beating up the people that had trigger used on them. You could, well, actually no, it's worse than that, because at least then you had the body horror thing of people turning into monsters against their will. In this particular situation, they are just stood around, just doing the standard thing. They're doing their 9-to-5 stuff, and it works, because that's what's expected of them, and it works, but at the same time, it's not that interesting, and... yeah, I would have liked it, because this episode does feel like it is just a bunch of people stood around waiting. We can't have Crawler solve the problem in the here and now. We need to wait for another hero to come along or for the stakes to get higher. But rather than spending an entire episode making those stakes get higher, we had to have the cut over to the pro heroes not really doing much of a muchness and just establishing stuff that we'd already known. So... yeah, I mean, it's an okay episode for what it is, but again, it is a connecting tissue episode. It is the point between 2 points. So, yeah, don't take the fact this is a shorter review distract from the fact that there is quality here. It's just that there isn't much to really talk about. But with that said, it's time for Comment Corner! It's time for Comment Corner. Gotta re-record this one because I accidentally left the echo on my microphone on. And it just occurred to me just then that... it means that everything that I've done, all the voice stuff that I've done over the past week, has been done with the echo on. that might explain a few things. But in any case, we're on to the comments, and we got a comment from Big X1 who says, I like the joke at the start. I didn't mind the stuff with the heroes, by the way. You didn't make a video description. This goes referring to the previous video and the previous review. That was a review of the episode of Defend the Tower. And yeah, I'm not going to repeat myself because, you know, there's little point in doing so. I much like Big X1. I like the bit at the start. Wasn't so keen on the bit in the middle. I like the bit at the end of it. It's just the stuff in the middle was just kind of average. It was just a cheese sandwich of an episode. And this week's episode, again, it's fun. It is enjoyable for what it is. And I have updated my previous video, so now it has a description. But anyway, we'll move on. Don't have anything else to say other than say thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And see you next time. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on. It'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!